go to viewing it. Sorry guys, we're trying to get it all started.
Call from Dr. William.
Turn your mute yourself.
Call from Dr. William.
Trying to get. Oh. Okay. Trying to get everybody a different angle. Hey, Andrea.
I have to turn everything off and do it again.
What?
I had to turn everything off.
Let me know when.
Okay. I'm watching.
Okay. We're trying to figure out a way to mute the other camera. Aunt Brad, if you can watch that. Hi, Yang. Sorry, we're. Brad, the camera needs to be rotated up.
What? I need
It
to.
has to be rotated up.
How do you join, Rachel?
I have no idea.
I got it.
Can you join? Okay. I've got the microphone turned off now, so.
Oh, Jesus. That totally went to my face.
Turn it up. The phone up.
You can't.
Are we laughing at each other?
Oh, you can't do it. I know everybody saw my face.
Ask me to join.
I can't. You can't do that. Not with this thing. You can't do it. See if you can open it. That's no way. And I'm not sitting next to you knowing this. I don't understand why is it not. You can't rotate your phone. Okay.
Hold.
Say, sit down. Okay, well.
I sent a request, so hopefully it'll come up.
Pull it out.
It's gonna come up there. So I'm gonna send the request and you just join it. It should be good. Oh.
Oh dear God.
Figure it out.
I know.
It's sent. we're gonna go ahead and get started. I've been doing the mermaid pattern on Teeny. I did it last year. The last live, she's still kind of growing out from that, so we're working on growing that out a little bit. So we'll add some color chalk that'll wash out on her feet. So I have quite a bit of growth on her. I wanted a little bit of growth to be able to cut this in on. So I'm going to turn her around in a second. I'm going to brush all of this forward, use a fine tooth comb. Hey, Lynn. Teeny likes to lay down during almost everything she gets done. And so what I'm going to do is try to find and do her spine as straight as possible so I know where her center is. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut in the pattern before I dye. I'm going to be using the OPAWZ semi-permanent dyes. They have a brand new color, the strawberry red. That's what we're going to be making the focal point of her scales today. I'll do a couple multicolored ones and make it really rainbow looking. This guy. I want to find where it's even on her back to make the starting point of her. So I'm using her spine as my guide of where it's centered and about where I want it to start. For her, I want it to be like a tail effect, so where it would start if she was actually a mermaid, if they existed. You can use like a washable marker to draw in your pattern if you need to. I did that the first time I ever did the design on her, and it worked great because it washes out very easily. So I cut the pattern in, but you can use, OPAWZ has a carving knife you can use to carve in your pattern, but I prefer using scissors. So I'm going to do it from y'all's angle. Let me know if you need any more visual. Hi, Teeny. Andrew, I can't see, so I'm going to go around. Let me know if I'm in anybody's way, or in the camera's way. Good girl. You're such a good girl. I like to use a small, delicate shear for this. Most of the Asian fusion scissors work great for it. OPAWZ has their own set of scissors. Today I'm going to be using a couple different ones. It's going to be hard to do on camera like this. So I start off with the first scale, just cut in the typical design pattern. We'll clean it up as we go. And I started off with Teeny. Teeny's been already bathed and blow dried, so she's completely bathed and clean to put the dye on. I I don't recommend putting dye on a dirty dog. You're not going to get the results or the desired color that you want. The OPAWZ instructions even says to use or to bathe them first. They make a degreasing shampoo that works great for this. You don't want any buildup in the hair or on the skin when dyeing. Pretty sure Teeny's already asleep. Should I put the wave bottom part of the scales across her back where I want her tail to start? Be very careful around the tuck up area. No. Good girl. So when she's standing up, that'll be more even. Sorry, my head's in the way. So right now you have a really weird, like, petal design. And after you create that first design, and I'll show you. After I've created the first little petal design, I'm going to go in and create the actual pattern of the scales, which is going to be connecting the middle of each of the starting tail scales. So in the middle of this, I'm going to go up, in the middle, go up, and so on. And then I'll repeat that pattern all the way down. Come on, T, lay down, down, knee down, down. Good girl. Right. T, move, please. Lay down. Lay down, baby girl. Good girl. Here, look. Stop. Oh, man, that's awesome. You can't curl in a ball, ma'am. That's not how this works. I really like the blended effect where it's overlapping, so it creates that that natural scale look. He's gonna try to roll into a ball here on us. Team, lay down, baby girl. You got this, baby girl. Good girl. Not as good as it would like it. There we go. I know, baby. Good girl. And I'll clean all of it up as we go, but this is just getting our pattern in. I know, baby. Just straighten out, girl. Good girl. It's not showing comments or anything. Just do you see any comments? Questions, anything? Just gonna repeat this all the way down to the middle. Good night. Ma'am. Ma'am. Lay down. Thank you, ma'am.
Call from wireless caller. Call from wireless.
And I'm tapering it as I go because it'll end at the top of her tail. girl, Teeny. Good girl. Down. Ready? No, down. You want it. You can't curl in a ball. Good girl. And when I dye this, it'll come, the definition will come out more. Because right now it doesn't look as great as it will after clean it up and add the dye. Oops. You start seeing that pattern in there, and it won't be as straight. Once I blend it, it won't look so weird. Right. Give me, Teeny. your body's not straight. Alright, so once I have my pattern pretty much set in, I will go ahead and dye it. And then after the dye is rinsed, we'll go and clean it up. But it looks a little crazy right now. So do I. Comb all those loose hairs out of her table. I don't use any spray, Terry, on the hair to make it any stiffer. She's got a drop coat, so it stays pretty stiff as is. Right now, she's probably got almost an inch of growth on her back, and that's about ideal for this pattern for her. She's got a very thin Shih Tzu coat, though. So we're gonna do more of a rainbow pattern. And I like to, when doing this, I like to use smaller bowls just so I can add the dye into something more confined. Do you even eat it? It's not for you. It's not a dish for you. All her hair stuck to me. I'm going to start by putting the new strawberry color in here. This is the strawberry red. And that's the new color that OPAWZ just came out with. It's a semi-permanent. And we're going to work on it together today. I shake it up really good. Try to gauge how much I need for her pattern. We're going to add some orange in here. And then this is the pumpkin orange. Shake it up really good. Do the flash yellow. Shocking. This one's shocking pink. Kelly green. Delilah purple. Bubblegum pink. And then the last but not least is Hawaiian blue. I'm going to comb out her back. Andrew, will you raise the table a little bit?
What?
Raise the table a little bit for me. Thank you. There we go. Yeah. like to use paint brushes for this. OPAWZ does have a brush set that you can order. Some of these are from that, and some of them are regular paint brushes. It's just something easy to use. You want to sniff them? They're clean, I promise. And then I have just regular application dye brushes. I'm going to go and start in with this new red. And I'm going to start off at the top. And what I do is I really want to get some of this color into where the scale starts and up underneath. And get it very saturated up underneath that scale. So up in there, and that's where I start. And I want to make sure that I'm going all the way down. You use a small comb, very small comb, to make sure you're getting it all the way, the underneath hair as well. And take my small comb and make sure that I've gotten it in the hair all the way down. I like to use baby wipes and paper towels quite a bit while doing this process, just to keep my everything clean. So I'll wipe the comb so I don't get extra hair in there. But with where I went a little extra with it, it's because that hair is too long. So I'm going to snip it where it needs to be. Go back in with my brush. And all around that scale, I'm going to do colors that are going to complement that, especially since I'm doing a rainbow pattern. Using a color wheel will help you a whole lot with this by finding colors that complement each other. So orange is going to go really good with that red. So all the scales around it, I'm going to do colors that go with it. So this orange. And I want to make sure I really define that top part of the scale up underneath so it layers great. And yellow goes really well with the red and orange, so we're going to do that. And next to this, I'm going to do the pink, the shocking pink. And whenever I go into the color, I make sure to mix it up pretty well, even though I was shaking it up just to make sure it's mixed very well. I'm going to go in with the Delilah purple next to it. Another little hair. It's a little bit long, too long. It should be. With this red. I'm going to develop kind of a pattern with this. Add in red. And do the bubblegum pink. pink is very light. So I'm gonna probably go over it in a little bit with the darker pink to make it really pop. I'm gonna have about a teeny. Look in this green. I'm gonna clean off this green brush so I can use it for the blue. That's why I keep the baby wipes on hand, just in case. Are you dreaming? I get really close to the other color, but try to be very careful with mixing like the colors that won't mix very well together. when leaving this on, I like to leave it on until the dye dries. Excuse me? No, ma'am? Oh, you're gonna get the dye in you. I know you're trying to go to bed. Sadly, that's not happening today, baby girl. You can stand up for a minute. Excuse me. Stop. Yeah. Sorry. I'm gonna do more red scales because I really want to show off this new color because it's so pretty. Still having that very rainbow scale effect. Ma'am? Can't curl in a ball. Ma'am. I know. You like to sleep while we do this. Stop. How old are you, baby girl? This part gets very tedious. I know. We're almost done where you can lay down for a few. doesn't have anything for you, Bam. So, with using OPAWZ, you want to really get a good amount of pigment on there, and make sure you're getting it really deep down on the fur. It can spread very easily, so using a steady hand to apply it is really ideal. You don't want to get in places that you don't want it, which can make fixing a design pretty difficult. I tend to be really bad about using gloves. They kind of limit the feeling, I guess, of holding the brushes. So I prefer not to wear them, but definitely it will stain your skin for a couple days. I always tell my clients when adding color to a dog that it'll grow out. Every dog is different. Some dogs it doesn't last that long, and I just try to get them the expectation that it might not stay on as long as they anticipate, but it also might stay longer than they anticipate. Just depending on the dog's coat type and how fast they grow. There's so many factors that go into it. Add a couple more red in here. If you don't clean the area really well when bathing, you're pre-bathing your dog, you're not going to get the color payoff that you want, which is one of the biggest mistakes I see when people ask questions in any of the color groups is, you know, what did I do wrong? And then my first question is always, did you pre-wash? And a lot of people will say that you're not supposed to, but you really need to. That's a huge mistake. Any buildup will cause the payoff to be different. And I prefer a fresh bath. I mean, I don't wait a couple days. I do it before I groom the dog or apply the dye. I bathe them right beforehand and make sure they're completely dry. If you're doing ears, make sure you clean them before you bathe. The colors also mix really well, so if you're trying to create a new color, I would go for it. I totally meant to do green there. There we go. There is OPAWZ does have a color isolation cream that you can use if you're trying to prevent an area from being colored. I do recommend it. It does work really well. I clean up some of this spillage that I just did. Where are you going, ma'am? You gotta turn around. If you're thinking about doing a color on a dog, always be very conscious of their personality. I never would do it on a dog that you have never done before, groom wise. You don't know how they're gonna act. So you really wanna know your dog's personality and how they're gonna take to it. All of this will be blended out, so I'm not too terribly concerned about the fallout that I just did. Also, having a sample on hand of what the colors look like with they have little swatches on OPAWZ. So having that on hand to know kind of what the color payoff is going to look like is really good to have on hand. Showing the client a color, sometimes you gotta be conscious about the color of the coat too, because on a neighborhood dog, it's not gonna look exactly the same on a white dog. You're almost done, baby girl. Just a couple more and it should be good to let it sit. you go. All of this I'll clean up after I rinse so that it won't be there. This pattern can also be used for more than just the mermaid, like dragon scales are very similar and they would look very good this way blended. Where her dark spots are, I'm doing the same amount of dye I would normally do. You can, if it's not the color that you're wanting, just because that is a darker area, you can go over it with some chalk to make it really pop, give it more definition. Good girl. You're almost done. You have a couple left. Just a couple more, baby girl. Alright. Baby, I don't want you to get that all over you. Just gonna fill in a couple of the colors where it's sparse. little bit of definition to the lighter pink color. That shocking pink isn't as dark as some of the other colors are going to be. So I'm just trying to enhance it a little bit. That one to make it a little bit. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute just to let it develop. It's been on there in certain places for a minute. Just trying to get the other colors to kind of catch up. When washing your dog, you'd make sure you don't condition beforehand. That'll make it harder for the dye to develop. Always conditioner after I've gotten the color payoff that I'm looking for. Let her sit down for a minute and clean up all of these little containers. Clean up my space as well. Lay down. Let's see if I can see any other comments. There we go. If y'all have any questions about the dye, definitely ask right now, because we're going to be rinsing her in a moment. I'm going to go through and trim up some of the stuff that needs to go. I know there's certain colors that people are having issues with. The blue-black tends to be one of them. Because it is more of a blue-based pigment, it tends to fade a different color. And so this was Teeny. We used the blue-black on the bottom of her paws, and it has faded. I mean, it's a lot of growth since the last time I used it, and it has faded to purple. And that's super common with that color. If you're looking for a true black, I would definitely use the true black instead of the blue black. It's going to give you more of that effect you're looking for if you're trying to use a black. I usually use the blue black for defining stuff between purple and blue to make it a little bit darker. Once she's sat for a few minutes, I'm gonna rinse it and brush it out, and then blend the lines. Normally, she has a 7-blade on her back, so I would do the 7-blade into the first top of the first level of scales, and then blend it in so it goes into the scales. And then I will go over this with a 4-blade to kind of blend everything out. but once it's rinsed and dried, it'll look a lot fuller. The colors right now look a little much, but once it's rinsed, it'll look a lot better. There's a couple places that have bled, but those will be cut and blended. Then I can go in with the chalk to define some of the scale design. My little comb go. Here it is. Normally when it sits, I will go over the shave parts that I want to shave. Like her back, I would shave. Any of the excess dye that I didn't need, depending on how intricate the design is, I will normally cut it in. Like, she gets that Asian fusion groom, so normally I go in on the legs and then blend it out and then bevel her feet. Just little things that I could do to kind of make the groom afterwards take less time. Stuff that'll be easier on her. Hey, baby girl. She likes to sit on the table and roll into a ball and pass out. I'm going to have her daddy bathe her real quick, rinse her and dry her. And then I'm going to show y'all Buffy. I used the Kelly green on her so I can show you how that turned out. And she hasn't had a bath in a couple days. So it'll be nice to see that. And that's another semi-permanent color. So this is Buffy. Buffy likes to be my little experiment because she grows so quickly so that I'm able to do a lot of different things on her instead of Teeny. But I used some of that new turquoise color in here to give it some definition. We're going to slowly turn this into a dragon on her. So the scales will be on her side. We put the dye on to show what it would look like, and we'll post those videos soon on what kind of payoff you get with a wash dog versus a dirty dog. And it looked very splotchy. The color pigment was not correct in any way, shape, or form. And then we washed her and went over it, and this is maybe a week's worth of being dirty. So it turned out really well. And then her apricot color, you can still kind of see the red in here because they're really coarse, the coat that she has that shines through, and it gives it a good little extra in her layers. I used the turquoise on her ears and then dyed this on her little tassels. Buffy, are you a huge fan of dye? Yeah, you're a huge fan, huh? Are you a huge fan? And that turquoise color that they just came out with is a new color, and it's really pretty. It added a lot of interesting layers on the side where we added it into her mohawk. Let me get some of the chalks. when enhancing a design, sometimes I will go in with either the color paste or the chalk. Even the blow pens work really well. But you can get pretty good payoff with these. And I always brush it through. Look at me, brush. And comb. You always want to comb the chalk or the blow pens or the paint pens. You want to brush it through. This is what the chalk will look like. Buffy likes to get dirty, so the first thing that fades on her normally is her ear hair. Hi, Poopy. Buffy says, hi, Mom, back. Actually, she probably doesn't say hi, Mom, back because Buffy likes to sit on the back counter at our shop and judge everybody because that's her personality. But she loves being different colors so they can talk to her and she can snub them. That's her goal in life, is to make the humans around her feel they're inferior to her. I'm not doing anything. Your ear is brushed and clean. Crazy lady. Normally I would wait until the dog is completely clean to do this. But we're waiting on Miss Tammy. When coloring dogs, make sure you know that your hands are going to be all multicolored. Even if you wear gloves, you'll get on you somehow. I know Buffy. Buffy's not a huge fan of the brush on her ears. She likes to tell it off. I'm just blending this into that green. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, you can tell me? Goofy. She's a little bossy. But she doesn't care about the color. It's the brushing part that she doesn't like. You can put color on her all day long, as long as you don't touch her feet or put the brush on her ears. When we did the mohawk on her, she was passed out for quite a bit of it. Oh, move her so you can see her. Good girl, Boofy. You good girl. Are you gonna go home and tell Daddy all about it? If you have a client that is on the fence about using the dye, you can always enhance their ears, put in the tail, put a little design on the side with the chalk or the blow pens. I prefer the chalk in ears because I feel it, if you can get a good color payoff with it. Sometimes on really light dogs, the blow pens do really well. But my personal preference is I really like the chalk. I don't like blowing into the pen to get the payoff. I prefer using this. So if I have a client come in, they want to really try the dye, but they're scared to try the dye because they don't know how it's going to turn out, I will use the chalk to show them what the color will look like. And then I'll wash out in a couple washes, if not quicker, depending on the rainy season. And then you ended up getting about the same color with the chalk as her mohawk down her back. You can even use the chalk if you say you've dyed and you want to maybe add some extra fun to it. You can take a color that you like and add it in. Give it a bonus little fade effect that matches her ears. Chalk is a really good tool to use for different things in your patterns that you use in your creative grooming. Brush it through really well. Oh, it looks like your fan is ready. And you see how well it goes into that color. Using those same chalks, I'm gonna help define Teeny. She's all bathed and ready. So I'm gonna let Miss Buffy go back to her perch to watch the show. Hi, Miss Teeny. It looks a little crazy right now because it needs to be blended. So brush everything down. And brush her out. Just got little snags from the blow dryer. To keep from the color bleeding when rinsing, you want to get where you don't have color wet first. It'll keep you from really bleeding onto the other fur, especially when the dog's white. Good girl. Do you want to be the star with your face showing, huh? Yeah? I'm going to turn around, baby girl. So I'm going to go over this with a 4-blade because that's my desired length for the scales. I'm using a 4 because I feel like when I blend, it gives me enough extra hair to kind of blend the scales and give them the layered effect that I'm looking for. And it also complements and isn't too long than the 7-blade that I normally use on her back. So going back with my same scissors I used to cut in the lines, I'm going to go back and redefine them. You can also use a toe blade if you would prefer to use clippers to sculpt. It works really well. I can show that. This is what I mean by a toe blade. This one is really, really old. It is a 7/8 toe blade. I don't know. And I like how small it is. To really shave in those lines. I'm gonna go up into the scale just a little bit to give it that layered look. Good girl. You're good. And I would go through that until I had every line where I wanted it to be. Pull in my scissors to cut in those extra lines that I need to make more clean. I really like that red. It's really pretty. It's not like in your face hot red, but it is definitely a strawberry red. So taking my chalks and the colors that I have on her, push it all open and have I like the dense makeup brushes for the chalk. They work really well. Instead of the paint brushes I use to put the paint or put the dye on. So taking my chalk, like with the blue, I will go into the top and darken up where the scale starts. Just to make sure I'm enhancing them. Clean up my edges. Okay. When you go to look at OPAWZ's website, they have a bundle of brushes. There's quite a few thick brushes like that in the set. They work perfect for this. Some of mine are dirty at the moment. I just washed them. And they need to dry. Are you gonna try to continue to take naps on me? If you turn this way, I can work on it better. Thank you. I'm gonna let her lay down for a minute because she's been very patient with me. Good girl. Once I get my chalk in where I want it on the scales, I will go back in and blend some of the scales with my thinning shears. You eating on my comb? I'll blend some of these out with my thinners. Just worked really floofy. Give it a more curved look. Sorry, Timmy. Excuse me. End up with more of like a rainbow fish scale look on her. Excuse me. Let me see. If y'all have any questions, let me know. That's about how I'd finish her. I would finish doing her back, blend the legs. You can define more into the where the scales start. If y'all have any questions, feel free to comment. I will be replying to what I see on there. This red is really pretty. I would definitely suggest getting on that before it sells out because sometimes new colors sell out pretty quickly on their site. I can't wait to do some ears with it. So definitely use that code Rachel when using OPAWZ on their website. It'll give you a discount. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of y'all. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me. And I look forward to our next live. Thank you.